be the best, simple and plain. That's why I play the game. To be the best, you have to win. And that's what drives me.
He's the best player in the game. It's just that simple.
Yo, what's going on, good people? We back with another vid. Need y'all to like, share, and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and spam that comment section. You coming through the door, get comfortable. You with the negative energy, please exit the building. But we got Too Short, brother. He was killed in Oakland, California. We're going to get into it.
Our top story tonight, the killing of the brother of rapper Too Short. Someone shot and killed him during an attempted robbery of a building in East Oakland. NBC Bay Area's Valina Jones has been tracking the story all day. She's got details about what happened.
OPD received several calls at around 0700 hours of a shot spotter activation and several 911 calls.
Tonight, OPD investigators are combing over evidence and searching for the people responsible for shooting and killing a man in an attempted robbery turned deadly. Investigators say around 7 this morning, multiple suspects tried to ram a car into an industrial building on 49th Avenue near East 12th Street.
The suspects arrived to the location. They attempted to force their way into the property.
And I guarantee you, it was our own people who did it. It was our own people. Same color as his skin did that to him. I guarantee you. And it's sad to say that.
While they were attempting their way in, the victim stepped out, was confronted by the suspects, and the suspects fired several rounds at the victim.
The victim is rapper Too Short's older brother. Police confirmed his identity as 61-year-old Wayne Shaw. Police say Shaw was shot multiple times and transported to a nearby hospital where he died. Investigators do not know if he was targeted or if the robbery was random.
Nah, he was targeted. They was watching him. They had a whole surveillance on him, following him probably from the beginning of that day.
Grew up in Oakland and is known as a pioneer of West Coast hip hop. He began his recording career in the 80s. The city named a street after him in East Oakland back in 2022. Too Short has not publicly said anything about his brother's death. Police say the suspects got away in an unknown vehicle. Investigators are looking into the building that was targeted and Shaw's connection to the property. In Oakland, Valina Jones, NBC Bay Area News.
I hope that wasn't no drug spot. But that's what that could have been. Drug spot.
You give eye exams.
I give.
We're gonna send our prayers to Too Short and his family. But we're gonna get into this CEO of American Airlines.
Hello, everyone. I'm Robert Isom, the CEO of American Airlines. I want to brief you on a serious accident that occurred involving an American Eagle aircraft. The aircraft was operated by PSA Airlines, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of American Airlines. First and most importantly, I'd like to express our deep sorrow about these events. This is a difficult day for all of us at American Airlines, and our efforts now are focused entirely on the needs of our passengers, crew members, partners, first responders, along with their families and loved ones. I know that there are many questions, and at this early stage, I'll not be able to answer all of them, but I do want to share the information I have at this time. American Eagle Flight 5342, operated by PSA Airlines, CRJ 700 aircraft traveling from Wichita, Kansas to Washington Reagan National Airport, has been involved in an accident near Washington, D.C. It appears to have collided with a military aircraft on approach. Flight 5342 was under the command of 4 crew members and carried 60 passengers for a total of 64 people on board. We are actively working with local, state, and federal authorities on emergency response efforts, and the American Airlines care team has been activated to assist our passengers and their families. We're cooperating fully with the National Transportation Safety Board in its investigation and will continue to provide all the information we can. Our cooperation is without pause, and we want to learn everything we can about today's events. That work will take time, but anything we can do now, we're doing. And right now, that means focusing on taking care of all passengers and crew involved, as well as their families. Members of our GO team will be on their way to Washington, D.C., and I'll be heading there shortly as well. We know that many people will be concerned for the welfare of their loved ones, And we've set up a special helpline friends and family can call at 1-800-679-8215. That's 1-800-679-8215. If you believe you've had friends or family on board American Eagle Flight 5342. We understand and appreciate that people are eager for information. Please know that we'll continue to share accurate and timely information as soon as we can.
There's so many people panicking. So many people that don't know what to do. They don't know who to call. Now that he put that number out, might give some people some type of relief, but it's still people that's just panicking right now because they got so many loved ones that was on that plane. There's so many loved ones on that plane, and there's so many people out here trying to find out, did they survive? Did they find them yet? Pray for everybody. Pray for this whole year. We're gonna put it like that. Just pray for this whole year.
Welcome back. We are continuing to follow that breaking news out of Washington, D.C. An American Airlines jet and a Black Hawk colliding around 9 p.m. tonight. I do want to read this. Governor Maura Healey just tweeting out. She's closely following this news coming out of D.C. and thoughts are with the survivors, victims, and their families. Grateful for the quick action of first responders in the wake of this terrible tragedy.
Well, let's continue to follow this locally. Right now, our Michael Rosenfield is live for us at Logan to continue our coverage. Michael, good evening to you. What are you learning tonight?
Well, the last flights of the night from Boston, Logan Airport down to Washington, D.C. have been canceled because of this devastating news coming out of the nation's capital, as we've been reporting. An Army helicopter and an American Airlines regional jet colliding into each other, both of the aircraft ending up in the Potomac River near National Airport tonight. This happened around 9 o'clock this evening. Take a look at some of that video, some of this incredible video and tragic video coming to us from the scene this evening from Washington, D.C. Again, early reports indicate that it was an Army helicopter and a passenger jet that collided into each other near Ronald Reagan National Airport.
We gotta look at that
Take a look
again.
at some of that video, some of this incredible video and tragic video coming to us.
That's the
from
helicopter
scene
right
this
there.
evening from Washington, D.C. Again, early reports indicate that it was an Army helicopter and a passenger jet that collided into each other near Ronald Reagan National Airport, and both aircraft ending up in the water. The plane was an American Airlines jet coming in from Wichita, Kansas. There is a massive search and rescue effort taking place right now in the water. The local NBC affiliate in Washington reports that at least 4 people have been pulled alive from the river. The rescue effort is the focus right now. How this happened?
So now they saying at least 4 people have been pulled from the river. Only 4 people. So you know people panicking right now. Not just the people that in the water who still trying to survive, the family members of those people.
And what went wrong will, of course, be examined in the hours and days to come. That video you've been watching from an observation camera at the nearby Kennedy Center shows what appears to be the 2 aircraft near each other, and then a big fireball. Around 60 people are believed to have been on board the American Airlines flight. It's unknown how many were in the helicopter, but you can imagine it must be an incredibly difficult search and rescue in the dark, in the water, the frigid temperature of the Potomac. National Airport is closed for now, and passengers here at Logan told us they were on board a plane ready to head to D.C. tonight when they were told to deplane.
So basically, we were about to take off, and there was a separate malfunction having to do with, I guess, the gas or the pressure. And they were resetting the system, and as they were resetting it, then we got another call. Hey, this is your captain speaking, completely unrelated. We are going to have to deboard because DC is no longer accepting flights. Fortunately, there's been an accident, but you know, we didn't know what's going on, and now we do. It's very sad.
What's your reaction?
And just imagine, it could have been any one of those planes that collided with that helicopter. It could have been any one of those planes with those people on there. So prayers to all those people. I hope they find them people. I know some of them not gonna make it, but damn, man. This is gonna have a lot of people skeptical of flying now.
We're turning around some audio tape that we now have in our possession, and it is, let me just read to you what I have here. It is between Pat 25 and DCA tower. It's the air traffic controllers who are apparently in conversations with the two aircraft as they are coming into this particular airspace. Obviously, Leland Vittert reported earlier to us that he learned that at the final approach, the American Airlines Flight 5342 was told to switch to a different runway, to runway 33. And the pilot said, we could do that. All right, we've got this audio. This is scanner audio of the air traffic controllers. I'm just going to play it for you.
Support 72, Washington, 1 star, 320.
Why is it so far?
American 130, go around from left end 250, Clemens, 83,000.
So again, that was audio between Pat 25, and I'm sorry, I can't tell you what Pat 25 means, but the DCA tower, I can certainly tell you, it's air traffic controllers. And I felt like I could discern some yelling in the background there.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, I definitely heard some yelling. I was about to say that too. I heard some yelling in the background right there. I don't know what to say because I just keep thinking about 2025 hasn't really even begun yet, and we dealing with tragedies like this. All I can see is both those aircrafts colliding and those people screaming and panicking.
Getting to hear from this briefing. Badi Ismail is joining us now. He's live on Zoom. Where you are, you live somewhere where you saw really this happen, and I just want to get your take as to what you saw earlier this evening. And where are you at?
I am at Buzzard Points, where the point
right there.
By James Creek Marina. I have an advantage view of the Potomac River, the Anacostia River.
I told y'all it's a lot of this going to be coming out. I told y'all a lot of people about to be uploading their footage. They about to be speaking on what they saw.
Airport, the military base. I have cinematic view, so I could see everything that is happening from the moment the crash happened. Because I was in my, I was sitting and watching TV when the crash happened. But it was a bang bang, very loud bang bang. Something I'm not familiar with, something you don't normally hear. So I turned into the window to take a look, and that's when I saw some smokes on the south side of the airport. So I still I wasn't able to comprehend everything. So a few minutes later, that's when I saw the DC Park, the Coast Guard, DC Police, Arlington Police, fire truck, everything and everybody, every resource within DC were heading toward the crash scene. That's when I took the video, somewhere around 8:50 p.m. And we want to make sure like something is really happening. The river, the Potomac, is frozen. We're talking about a 39-degree as we speak today. So it's been frozen since the inauguration day. So that's another hassle that the U.S. Coast Guard have to maneuver through all this ice in order to get to the crash scene. The crash scene is about 2 miles from where I'm at. Based on what I see, I have friends that work at the DC Park. Based on their analysis on the site, this is not a search and rescue mission at this point, okay? It is, unfortunately, it's a recovery mission. I see only a handful of boats. I would say maybe like 10 boats at the very most. Most of them are on the east side of the river, which is
60 people, 4 crew members. This is not a rescue mission no more, he say. This is a recovery mission. And they headed from DC to Wichita. This is crazy.
The military base, and I believe that's where the crash, where the debris of the plane is. So this is what is happening right now. I see fire trucks on the Reagan Airport. So there's two actual sites of the crash. What you see on the screen right now is the Reagan Airport, but we need someone to take a look at the crash scene. I see helicopter with their flash and lights all over the Potomac, trying to find any possible light. When we talk about 38 degrees, we're talking about hypothermia. It's inevitable.
Right.
So this happened at 8:50 p.m. Now we are at 12:34. We're hitting almost 4 hours.
Yeah.
So this is really devastating.
Abadi, let me jump in for a second here, because I just want to point out, yes, when we talk about the air temperature, we talk about the water temperature. Clearly, these are dangerous, treacherous, life-threatening conditions out there. We do not have any confirmation yet. If it's been called a rescue mission, they have not officially called it a recovery operation, which again, we're hoping to hear some update momentarily.
Yeah, and from our vantage point,
it's a recovery operation.
Like
he said,
the presence, if anything, has only grown. But
he said that on national TV, but
you've been able to see because you have.
We know what it is.
Did it look like there are fewer boats in the water?
Fewer boats, 100%.
Yeah.
They are all stationed, and all of them are stationed on the east side of the river. So and they've been stationed there for a while now. So that told me that they found the debris of the plane. So what they're doing right now is they're either collecting, rescuing. You're right. They call it search and rescue. So we just keep it that way and hope for the best. Hopefully they found some live people in this cold temperature waterway.
You would hope so.
Yeah, and where you see most of the boats, is that still on the Maryland side, like where the Joint Base, Anacostia Bowling?
Keep cutting your footage, man. I hope he out there.
Actually, I'll stop. Let's take a look and see.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, that'd be great if you can. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was about to say, put the camera in the window.
Yeah, I realize
there's a lot of people in them high rise.
People who've been sending us video just from their vantage points, and when you look at it from afar, you get a sense of what kind of massive operation.
It is a massive operation, 100%. The fire trucks at the Reagan Airport, we're talking about hundreds of them.
Man, we can't see shit on his footage.
In the water, they're like a handful. That just tell me it's either the frozen water and inability for many of these boats to get to the sites. I'm not so sure, but it's not as the scene in the water is not as much as the scene at the runway or at the.
I'm Muriel Bowser. I'm the mayor of Washington, D.C. I'm at Reagan National Airport. I am joined by United States Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, United States Senator Jim Moran, Senator Roger Marshall, Jack Potter, the CEO of the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority. We are here to brief you on the very tragic events of this evening, where we know a passenger plane coming to the airport here collided with a military helicopter. Our fire department, DC Fire and EMS, supported by fire departments and police departments from across the Washington metropolitan region, are executing a rescue operation in the Potomac River. They are working diligently in very dark and cold conditions, cold water, to execute this rescue operation. We have had the opportunity to be briefed by American Airlines officials. I'm told that American Airlines leadership is on the way to Washington as well. And officials are in the airport talking to families now. We do have a 1-800 number where families should contact us should contact American Airlines for more information, and we will be providing that information shortly. I am going to turn to a number of officials to provide as much information as we can this evening, and we expect to have more frequent briefings at daylight. So with that, I'm going to turn to Secretary Duffy.
Thank you, Mayor Bowser. I think for all of us, we want to extend our thoughts and prayers to those individuals who were impacted by the events tonight, their families. We know this is a very difficult time for all of them. I want to join the mayor and everyone here to extending out a thank you to the first responders who, again, in very difficult situations and environments, are out there searching and attempting to rescue. Tonight, I spoke with President Trump and his team in the Situation Room. I had a conversation with Secretary Pete Hegseth as well, and then with the Kansas delegation and the mayor and others in leadership, as well as Governor Youngkin from Virginia and Governor Kelly from Kansas. From the Department of Transportation and FAA's perspective, we are going to offer full support to those on the ground, to the mayor, but also to the NTSB, who is going to be conducting the investigation in this matter. We are going to provide all the support that's necessary. Mayor.
Thank you. So with that, I want to ask Chief John Johnley from DC Fire and EMS to provide an update.
She going through it in her head.
Good evening, everyone. I'm John Donnelly, Chief of DC Fire and EMS. This evening at 8:48, an alert was sounded, initiating a large regional response to a report of an aircraft crash on approach to the airport. This response includes first the Metropolitan Washington Airport's Authority's Fire Department, the District of Columbia Fire Department, the Metropolitan Police Department, and the U.S. Park Police to respond into the area and to sort that out. At 8:58, the first units arrived on the scene and found an aircraft in the water and began rescue operations. This incident has grown. There's currently about 300 responders working. We have boats from all throughout the region, police and fire boats. We have a mutual aid agreement in Washington, D.C., the National Capital Region Mutual Aid Agreement administered by the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments, and we're all operating under that. We're operating under a unified command. Everybody's together. So we also have requested state police helicopters from Maryland, and the Coast Guard helicopter is working. So this is a state and federal response as well. U.S. Coast Guard's got some boats in the water as well. So it's a highly complex operation. The conditions out there are extremely rough for the.
And if they call it off for the night, you know what it means. If they say we're gonna call it off for the night and go back to it in the morning, you know what it means. Man, this is tragic. 2025 starting off already.
Responders, it's cold. They're dealing with relatively windy conditions. Wind is hard out on the river. So they're out there working. We're doing everything we can to keep them safe. And with that, I'm going to turn it back to the mayor.
Thank you. In Chief Bonnet from MWA.
I'm Rick Bonnet, Fire Chief of MWA Fire and Rescue. Our unit, as Chief Donnelly already alluded to, at 2048, we received an alert from the FAA tower of an aircraft incident involving a commercial aircraft and a helicopter. Our units immediately responded and deployed 3 boats and immediately called for mutual aid resources. Again, as Chief Donnelly said, it's an active operation that's going to last many hours as we continue to work through recovery efforts and rescue operations. This will be ongoing for quite a while. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families and
And of course, we mentioned that in this conversation between the tower and the Black Hawk helicopter, there were a couple of messages that were sent. And now we're learning that Fox News is reporting that the Army helicopter did respond to the tower. In fact, I'm going to read you the quote here. Fox News is reporting that the Army helicopter did not respond to the tower when they asked if the helicopter had the regional jet in sight. In fact, it appears that they did respond, but on a different tower frequency. So they were on a tower frequency for helicopters. It appears that the tower controller was working both frequencies. And so as John...
Why is he working both frequencies? See, somebody wasn't doing their job. He was doing his job, but he was overwhelmed with the job. He working two frequencies. It should have been one person working that frequency and another person working that frequency. Somebody didn't show up for work that day.
Was kind of laying it out for us, and he's probably on this ATC transcript right now, on this voice recording, getting the clarity on this. But we talked about this, and it's very imperative here, because we know there were two warnings, and maybe warning is too strong, but there were two directions given from the tower to the Black Hawk helicopters. And one of them was to pass behind. And the other one was, do you see the regional jet? And apparently we have been reporting, because that's the information we have, because that's the transcript, that the helicopter did not respond. And now Fox News is saying, getting information that they did respond, but it was on a different line. I want to bring John Scott back in. So John, if you didn't hear any of that, Fox now report.
How is this possible? Just how is this possible? Something don't sound right here. So at first they said he didn't respond to the tower, saying that he seen the jet. Then he did respond, but it was on a different line.
It appears they did respond, but on a different tower frequency. They were on a frequency for helicopters, and it appears that the tower controller was working both frequencies, which is why in the conversation that you were listening to, you probably didn't hear a response, and nor did any of the pilots we talked to tonight.
Military aircraft use the UHF frequency primarily for their communications. Some of them are equipped with VHF frequencies, which are what jetliners and small general aviation aircraft like mine use. So it could be that he was on a helicopter frequency, or he was on a UHF frequency and maybe talking to the tower, but just not getting the transmission through. That's all going to be part of the investigation.
Yeah, and speaking of the investigation, John, we have that recording now. I know you've probably heard this, but we're going to play it twice. This is the air traffic controller talking to the Black Hawk helicopter. We're going to play it for you a couple of times because it's quick. So listen into this, and then we'll bring John Scott back and get his take on this.
And you can hear people in the background, like somebody yelling or panicking.
See that? 472. American 2130, go around some left and 250, I'm maintain 3000. Left and 350, 3000, American 3130. 4782, but that now for individual. American 472, 1 did you see that? 472. American 2130, go around some left and 250, I'm maintain 3000. Left and 350, 3000, American 3130.
Yeah, we kind of looped it a couple of times to hear there, but the thing that I'm caught by and in that, John, is where he says, "Did you see that?" And I don't know what he means. He said, "Did you see that?" What it's surprising.
I believe that's another aircraft who saw the explosion. What happens, and
nah, it ain't no Now we got to play that back, y'all.
Hear any of that? Fox now reporting it appears they did respond, but on a different tower frequency. They were on a frequency for helicopters, and it appears that the tower controller was working both frequencies, which is why in the conversation that you were listening to, you probably didn't hear a response, and nor did any of the pilots we talked to tonight.
Military aircraft use the UHF frequency primarily for their communications. Some of them are equipped with VHF frequencies, which are what jetliners and small general aviation aircraft like mine use. So it could be that he was on a helicopter frequency or he was on a UHF frequency and maybe talking to the tower, but just not getting the transmission through. That's all going to be part of the investigation.
Yeah, and speaking of the investigation, John, we have that recording now. I know you've probably heard this, but we're going to play it twice. This is the air traffic controller talking to the Black Hawk helicopter. We're going to play it for you a couple of times because it's quick. So listen into this, and then we'll bring John Scott back and get his take on this. Watch.
Can you see that? 472. American 2130, go around to left and 250, I'm maintain 3000. Okay, 350, 3000, American 3130. American 472, by that operator visual. American 472, 320. Can you see that? 472. American 2130, go around to left and 250, I'm maintain 3000. Okay, 350, 3000, American 3130.
Yeah, we kind of looped it a couple of times to hear there, but the thing that I'm caught by and in that, John, is where he says, "Did you see that?" And I don't know what he means. And when he said, "Did you see that?" What it's surprising.
And we're gonna leave it ended on that note. Need y'all to like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about that in the comment section. Like I keep saying, it's the beginning of the year. It ain't even February yet, and things like this is happening. So need y'all to stay prayed up. Peace and blessings to everybody, and I'm gone.